You are tuning in to a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the InnerSpeak Soul Adventures radio show with Jean Adrienne. Jean is the creator of InnerSpeak, a method for clearing karmic and ancestral blocks. She's the author of 4 books and 2 decks of metaphysical clearing and activation cards. Jean offers private sessions via phone or Skype, as well as her office located in Blairsville, Georgia. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 657-383-1895. Enjoy this soul-healing show.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday. This is Jean Adrienne, and you are listening to InnerSpeak Soul Adventures. We are going to be doing readings and clearings for you today, and so all you need to do is just call on in. Now, I want to give you a heads up because this has happened to me several times. When I press 1 to be put in the host queue after the Blog Talk Radio thing answers the phone, nothing happens. And so sometimes I have to press it twice, and today I actually had to press it 3 times. You're not actually in the host queue until you hear that message that says you are now in the host queue. So if you've been thinking that we were just ignoring you and never picking you up for a reading, that's the reason why. So make sure you press 1 until you actually get a response from Blog Talk Radio, and we'll be good. Okay, that was my public service announcement. Now, boy, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but whoa, the energy is so uplifting. I woke up this morning thinking, I live in a whole brand new world, and it's just incredible. And, maybe it's because Easter is past now. You can wear your white shoes if you want to, because, that whole thing about you're not supposed to wear white shoes until after Easter. Well, okay, you're good to go now. If you got some white shoes, bring them out. But this resurrection energy is just in the air. Last summer, I planted asparagus plants. Asparagus is my favorite vegetable. And so I planted asparagus plants, and then we had this horrific drought in the fall here. And, basically we were not allowed to water. Even though I'm on a well, I tried to observe that. And we weren't allowed to burn anything because everything was like a tinderbox. And in fact, we had some pretty horrific fires around here because people were just kind of being careless. And then I had my accident, so I wasn't here. I was away for 6 weeks while I stayed at my brother's until I recovered. And when I got home, it looks like my asparagus plants had just dried up and died. And I just figured that they had because, I'm not getting any tender loving care and certainly no water for several months. Well, I went out and walked the dog this morning, and lo and behold, every single one of them is green and has sprouted up, and I have little baby asparaguses. And this year, because last year was the first year I planted them, and you can't harvest any the first year. So this year, I actually get to eat asparagus. So hallelujah, that goes to the top of my gratitude list for today. So if you are listening in on the internet, I invite you to call on in. The number is 657-383-1895. I am here to give you readings, and Laurie is present to give you readings. Actually, Laurie does the readings, and I do the clearings. So call on in, and welcome, Laurie.
Can we call this Mercury retrograde?
Yeah, we can, because that's happening. I only spoke to you an hour ago, so I was like, okay, what happened?
It was great.
Good. Good.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
So listeners, if you are not used to working with Laurie and I, Laurie's an incredible intuitive from Toronto. Her website is intuitivesoul.com, and she's going to do readings for you, and then I will follow up with an InnerSpeak clearing using my InnerSpeak cards. These are the cards that if you go on my website and sign up for my newsletter, I will send you a link to the online version of them once you confirm into my newsletter. But we already have our first caller. So, area code 803, who are we speaking with, and how can we help you?
Hey, Jean and Laurie, how are you? This is Hillary.
Hey, Hillary, how are you?
I'm good. So,
cool.
I think what's on the top of my mind today is I have a job interview this evening, and just wanting to hear if there's any insights into, this possibility.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm going to let Laurie speak first.
Yes. So, okay, first, I'm getting so the first card I got is the Ace of Earth, or the Ace of Pentacles. So that's a yes card for sure, and it's also, it also shows good money potential. So this is new for you, Hillary?
Yes. It's a totally different company.
Okay. Okay, so just a little bit of background. So what's the reason that you're wanting to change? Because what I'm picking up is that there was something that sort of kind of caused you to want to change what you were doing. Like there was some sort of experience, and that partially that needs to be cleared, just because it's still affecting you somewhat, and I don't know exactly what that's about, but I do know that you've planted some seeds. I do know that it has some good potential to be exactly what you want. Like I did definitely get a yes, but there's something around this that is like an old pattern that has to do something with not a strong enough foundation, or something around the past that has led you to want to move into a new area. Does that make any sense at all?
Oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of things that have led me to start looking.
Okay. So my thing around that is that it's time to sort of look at, whatever the experience that sort of created this, and something around, there's some sadness around this that is time to heal, some disappointment around this that needs time to heal. But on the whole, everything looks great. Like there's lots of potential, lots of movement. There's lots of ways to make more money. There's certainly, it's certainly something about more passion. But what mostly comes up, or what I don't know if necessarily concerned about, but just to look at the past experiences, because that is something that needs to be kind of reviewed and looked at, maybe some more revision, something around, just something around the past that needs to be looked at, and just something around, I don't want to say poor timing, because this is exactly the time you're supposed to do it, but maybe you took too long in the old one that is kind of creating some of the concerns that are rising up. But again, they're not huge concerns. They're just about the past stuff that has been leading you towards this. And one of the things that I always like is, clean up the stuff so that when you move towards something new, it's a whole new beginning. And there's just some of the stuff in the past. So I don't know if you want to answer that, or if, Jean, you just want to go into the clearing.
I can answer some of that.
Okay, perfect.
So I've worked in this group that I've worked with for 10 years, and I have formed a lot of friendships and didn't really want to leave the group. My reluctance, and this is probably what's coming up, is that I don't want to abandon them. I want to leave it neat and best I can, but I have this reluctance knowing that they have depended upon me very heavily to support them. for quite a while. And this is my pattern of kind of making it, it's not a purposeful thing. I try to share as much as possible, but they become too dependent upon me.
Okay, so that's exactly what I've been picking up. So when you look towards getting something new and starting a new thing, shifting that pattern, being aware of it, obviously, as you are, is the first step towards, exactly what you're wanting to create and make new. But just acknowledging that you're feeling that you need to help, fix, change, help, but this other job that clearly part of you has decided is finished, and parts of that helper energy that we all kind of hold on to because it's part of who we think we're supposed to be. Just be conscious of that. And Jean, I think that's where you can start clearing this, but it's really, that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to continue growing and evolving towards love. So when you feel that pull, that's kind of what's holding the old pattern to you. So just be gentle to yourself and say, I realize that part of me wants to help and fix before I move, but really let that go so that it's not in your energy, so that you're not holding on to that, and then so that it's not holding you back from really stepping forward and moving into something that will bring you much more joy and happiness. Make sense?
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
Cool. Yeah. So this is really interesting. So while Laurie was working with you, I was pulling the InnerSpeak cards to see exactly what we needed to clear, and this really is all about old patterns. And very interesting that this apparently the energy for right now is about letting go of old patterns, because boy, I've been dealing with it for myself in spades, and so it doesn't surprise me. So when I pull the first card, the red card, which is the source of this, to see what do you need to clear in order to make this interview be very successful, well, guess what card came up? Self-sabotage to avoid transforming. And so then I pulled the two orange cards to see what's the setup around this. And it was very perplexing for me in the beginning, because the first card was denied infidelity, the second card was suicide. And suicide can be figurative or it can be literal. Then I went to the yellow cards, which is, okay, what did this do to her soul? And it says, inflow, money, love, and creativity has been shut down. And the stuck belief is, I am broken. And so I thought, because I know Hillary pretty well, listeners, and I'm thinking, this doesn't sound like Hillary's soul stuff. So I began to ask, okay, is this Hillary stuff? No. Is it Hillary's team? No. Is it Hillary's body? Yes. So these are issues of your body that could potentially sabotage your interview tonight, because your body is the manifesting engine, because it's the earth plane piece of you. You're just the soul writer living inside that body. And so your soul, your body is taking responsibility for just what you said about being unfaithful to all of the people on your team. And so she's really concerned about that. Now, what the suicide piece is, I don't know, but I think that this is a pattern from your past where your body's been caught up in denied infidelity in some way, shape, or form, and she has suicided. And like if you went into your boss today and told your boss that he or she was an idiot, that would be corporate suicide. And so it goes on and on. what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So does any of that resonate with you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was feeling like there was something in my body anyway. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And so so what this is doing to you as a soul is it's causing you to shut down inflow. The ability to receive a job offer, would be inflow. Money, love, creativity, all of that stuff. And the belief is I am broken because I think your body has taken this responsibility for past sabotage and decided, well, she's broken. She can't do it right. So let's clear this. So what I want you to do is I want you to pull all of your energy into your divine line, and I want you to go up to your higher self. And now at the level of your higher self, I want you to connect with the higher self of your body. And I want you to ask your body at the level of her higher self where she can hear you, what can I do to help you? And let me know what she says.
What I hear is support. She needs support.
Okay, so I want you to now suggest to your body that that's not your job. No different than it's not your job to be supporting these team members. They need to stand on their own 2 feet. Not your body's job to support those team members. And I want you to invite your body to activate the vibration of support inside her divine line, which runs right up the middle of your spine.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Now, where this is residing in your body is in your second chakra, which is the chakra of inflow, money, love, and creativity. And so I just want you to put your attention on your lower abdomen, right below your belly button, and I want you to invite your second chakra to open, to heal, and to balance its energies front and back, and release all of the old wounds, all of the old patterns, all of the old belief systems. Just let them go. And now, finally, you've got energetic debris in your divine line that is your body. Your body has energetic debris inside it and out in the field, in the energetic bodies, from previous thought. And this stuff looks like mirrors. And what it does is it attracts to you people, places, and situations that make you feel broken. So I just want you to ask, invite your higher self and the higher self of your body to clean up all those mirrors, to just take a giant vacuum cleaner and suck them all up and return them back from which they came. So that you don't create a situation of self-sabotage when you go in your interview tonight. Okay, there you go. Good job. All right, and you receive blessings from the angels for doing this work. The first blessing is release from overwhelm. The second blessing is a blessing of courage, courage to follow your heart's command. So when you get into that interview tonight, listen to your heart. Put all of your attention in your heart center and let your heart be the brain that runs your mouth, so that every word that comes from your mouth is actually a word that is being spoken by your heart. And the final blessing is centeredness and calmness, enabling you to see and accomplish your purpose. And Hillary, it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, your teachers, and your guides. And I'm going to invite you to stay on the line for a minute because I want to share, and Laurie helped me to uncover this pattern since we're talking about patterns. I think I mentioned this on maybe 2 weeks ago on the show, or maybe last week, I don't know, but For the last 3 Sundays, it's been a recurring pattern for me to have mortal moments, shall we say, a dark night of the soul, go into a funk, not get anything done, either stay in bed all day or stay in my pajamas and not even brush my teeth and not leave my house on Sunday. And the first one was pretty devastating until I finally ended up doing some InnerSpeak work on myself to clear it. The second week, I just said, oh, no, I'm not going there. And I chose out of it, and I chose to do some creative stuff. I got back into painting and ended up having a really productive and fun day. And it started to happen again yesterday. And again, I said, okay, no, I'm not going there. But that told me that there were unresolved issues that I didn't clear on the other 2 Sundays that were still causing me to have major mortal moments on Sundays. So I was telling this, Laurie and I do a show, and we recorded it. It's on bmajor.org, and it'll air on Friday. And so we were recording it today, and Laurie asked me, she said, Jean, this is a pattern. Wait a minute, go back and look at this and tell me why this feels like a pattern for you. And all of a sudden it hit me square between the eyes that as a little girl, my parents, I was raised in a very fundamentalist Christian family, and we went to church every Sunday. We went to Sunday school and church every Sunday. And the only way out of that is if you were really, really sick. But other than that, you were expected to get up on Sunday morning, get dressed, and have your butt in the car in time to get to Sunday school on time. I never fit in. I hated it. I was always miserable. The church that we went to was on the other side of town from where we lived, and so none of the people in my Sunday school class were kids that I went to school with. I didn't know them, and they all did go to school together. They all knew each other. And so it was a very miserable experience for me, and this went on, all the way up until I started college, really. And I was never comfortable. I was never happy. And when I had that first dark night of the soul 3 weeks ago on Sunday morning, the overarching feeling that I was having was I don't fit in. I don't fit in here where I live. I don't fit in anywhere. I don't fit in. I don't know who I am. And one of the reasons why I wanted you to stay on the line is I really want to thank you, Hillary, because you introduced me to an amazing book by Paul Selig called The Book of Knowing and Worth, or Worth and Knowing. I forget how it goes. Anyway, which really is all about finding within oneself your true worth and knowing it and owning it and singing that song and expressing it in the world. So it was a perfect time for me to actually start reading that book yesterday instead of going into another funk. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Welcome. It is an amazing book because of just reading it. You feel yourself transforming, learning your worth, and
exactly.
And it's something that I needed as well, knowing my worth, because of course I've had doubts of my worth, in this whole job search. So
of course, and it could cause you to settle for less money when y'all actually get to the offer stage, for you to settle for less money than you are worth. If you're clear in your worth, they're going to offer you what you think you're worth. And
exactly.
So as long as you're clear, you'll get a good offer that will be well more than what you're making now. So, just take some time to meditate on that this afternoon.
Okay, I will.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned, because I have the publisher, and she is going to get him onto both of our shows. So. Oh,
great! That's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Work is great.
Yep. Well,
okay.
We're all connected. We are all one.
Yeah.
And we're all the same frequency, and we're all the same flesh, and we all sing the same song. That's from that book.
I find myself
all right.
singing I know who I am, I know what I am, and I know how I serve. I find myself singing it.
Yeah.
Actually singing it. Yeah.
Well, and you should, because, that's what the beings that sent this information in through Paul Seeley, because it's channeled material, they say that they're singing this song to us so that we'll learn the tune and we'll learn the words so that we get it.
Yeah.
So it's happening. It's happening for all of us. All right, so listeners, call on in. The number to call is 657-383-1895, and then don't forget to press 1 as many times as you need to in order to get Blog Talk to respond back to you and say you're in the host queue. All right, so Laurie.
Yes.
What other patterns do we tend to deal with that cause us to sabotage ourselves and settle for less?
I think we were talking a little bit about this earlier, but I think the judgment aspect is probably one of the biggest areas where we self-sabotage and hold in our patterns. And I mentioned before, if you've seen the movie, I know that a lot of people read the book, The Shack. The movie obviously brings in the major parts of it, but some of the movie really hit me are really around the judgment areas, where I think that is where we tend to do the most harm to ourselves and others. And, if we're all one, whenever we judge another, we're really judging ourselves. But we really judge ourselves far more harshly than we judge anybody else. And, I think the patterns that we hold are really already established before the age of 7. So a lot of times, we're not aware that it's necessarily a pattern, or we're not aware, how ingrained it is in our lives. And, becoming more conscious of when you're getting triggered, or when you're feeling insecure, or when you're feeling that, that angst. It's just like you were saying, the first Sunday 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, you got so heavily into it, you totally forgot that you do your own work, right?
Right.
And it's like, that happens all the time. When we get so caught up, we forget all the things, all the tools that we already have in our toolbox, all the different people that can support us. We have so many tools that we use often. And when we get caught up, when we get in that space, it's like it goes out the window. We know all the things that make us feel good. I mean, you did it the second one, which was, getting back into your art. Like, that's probably the most inspirational and best thing you could do when you're in a period like that. But when we are so ingrained in it, when we're so caught and stuck in it, we just forget to use any of the tools that we have already established that we know that work. It's like when we make that connection to our inner or source or guide, or that feeling when you just feel so connected and so in a state of wonderment and joy and love. And yet it's so hard to hold on to. It's like if you try to hold on to it, or if you try to grasp it in any way, that's when you know that that's when you know that you can't do it, because it has to be in the moment. It has to be, it has to come from the space that is open and relaxed and connected. And as soon as you try to hold on to something, that's when it all sort of falls apart. But when you're in that place, and I loved, there was a quote in the movie where when they asked, why weren't you there? And it said, when you're in your pain, when you are so stuck in your pain, you can't hear me. And that's the thing. Like we get so lost. We just forget. We just get so caught up in that dark space or that confusion or that depression or that whatever it is, we forget. And so once you come out of it, if you can look at it, then you can sort of start to recognize the different signs. But you know the time when you say, this always happens to me? Well, that's a clear sign of a pattern. But with you, it was like you were telling me each Sunday, and I'm like, okay, well, the first thing, I mean, even after when you said the next Sunday, I'm like, okay, so what's with Sundays and you? So it's like, you know,
well, it takes somebody getting outside the box. I was too close to it to see that.
Of course. And once you're stuck in it, like once you're caught in it, you don't see your own patterns. That's why it's great to have people all around you that can see these things. And that's why we're here. We're here to, you know, I get stuck in my own stuff. We all do. And it's because we're human, and it's not because we're doing something wrong or we're not light enough or we're not love enough. See, that's the whole thing. We are the changers. We are the ones right now that are making the shifts for everybody. So that means there was nobody before us that is a good role model. That means we don't have a clear path to work with this process.
No, we're having to take out our machetes
and
knock down the weeds so that we can get there. You know?
Yeah,
and
we're
I
making
think that
the
reminds
path.
me, as you're talking, it reminds me of that TV show that I think is actually still on TV, but I remember it from years ago because I don't watch TV anymore, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And one of the things that happens when you get in the hot seat on that millionaire show is you're given lifelines. And we all have lifelines, but I think we forget that we have them. We forget to use them. And one of the lifelines on that millionaire show was to call a friend. And, you know, how often when we're, you know, in our cups, do we forget to reach out and call a friend who might be able to give us some insight from outside the box that would help us to get back into a better space? I was speaking to a good friend of mine this morning, and she apparently was having some of the same stuff going on, and she said, well, all I've wanted to do for the last few days is just cry. And I'm like, honey, you know, why didn't you call me? You know, I would have been willing to listen, you know?
Yeah.
And I think she was just so deep down in it that she didn't remember to call a friend, to use one of those lifelines.
Right. We just forget because we get so caught up in the everyday happenings. We forget all of the things, all the tools, all the people, all the known things that we have. I mean, I probably have, 300 meditations that I could listen to.
Yeah,
do I remember when I'm stuck in it? No.
Exactly. That's my point.
And just one of them, even like for 5 minutes, would help. But you just forget. That's all. It's like forgetting who we truly are. It's forgetting that, that spark that's within all of us that is that is divine, that is the same spark of divinity that lies within the heart of Source. I mean, it's that same spark of divinity that exists in all time and all space. But we just forget because this is a third-dimensional planet that's full of fear and different emotions. And yes, we're moving towards the fifth dimension, and we'll know when we're there because it'll be all about love. But until we get there, until we fully put both feet in that fifth dimension, there's always going to be moments where we get pulled back and dragged down, and we're human. We just forget.
Yeah.
If we weren't human, we wouldn't be on this planet. Like if we weren't, if we didn't forget, we wouldn't be here. This is
exactly.
To step forward and to pave and, as you said, take the machete out and create our own path.
Exactly. Well, guess what? We've got another caller. And so caller on area code 678, Who are we speaking with, and how can we help you?
What? I didn't know.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Hello? Area code 678. I heard something, and then, yeah?
Oh, hello?
Yes,
There we
now
go.
I can hear you.
Oh,
Right.
okay. I never pressed 1. I didn't realize I could. Okay.
All right, so
surprised me that it was
who are we
me.
speaking with? Yeah, it's you.
Julie.
Hey, Julie, how are you?
Good.
Cool. So, how can Laurie and I help you today?
I'm not. I was just kind of thrown off guard. I was just listening in today. Had just noticed you were on air and had literally just jumped in and listened to about the last 3 minutes of the show. So.
Okay.
Okay, then
I
let's
guess
put a
just
different
whatever
question.
you feel. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's put a different question. What do you want right now? What is the thing, the first thing that comes to you when you think about what you want? Don't edit. Just say, what is it? What's the one thing that you're wanting right now? Other than maybe not being put on the spot.
That's more of just a full connection, I guess. Like.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you think? What do you think's blocking your full connection?
Mm.
Okay, I'll stop putting you on the spot, and I'll give you what.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say probably the whole voicing, feeling it in my throat, just not being able to.
Okay. So not being
get
confident
from
enough.
like in my head to being able to like translate that, like what I'm feeling to thinking.
Okay.
Sort of thing.
So what I'm picking up is, you have like a happy wish that you're truly wanting to do, and so I'm guessing that it's this that you're talking about. But what I feel is that you just need to get a little bit clearer on what that would look like, maybe bring in more senses. So what would it taste like? What would it sound like? Like when you think about this perfect wish that is about to come true, because it's right in your energy right now, just get really clear about what that looks like and feels like and sounds like and tastes like and smells like. How would it complement all the other areas in your life? How do you see it transforming you from where you are now, maybe not having as loud a voice, or not maybe expressing yourself the way you truly like to? What would it look like if you could? If you already had that, if you knew that ultimately that would be the case, what would that feel, taste, smell? What would it look like? And then I want you to be really conscious of the things around you. Like, I see that this can be really successful, and I think the one word that I would use on this would be confidence. So how could you create the confidence around this? Because it's there. It's all around you. It's just you have this uncertainty. You have your fears around this. Even though you know from a certain place you already have this, that you already are this being that you want to be. There's just this part of you that feels uncertain, that lacks the confidence, and has some fears around this uncertainty. But you have this wisdom around you, and you have, as we talked about, maybe before you got on, we have this incredible toolbox of support system, whether it's our divine support team that is in the the non-physical, or even the friends and family around us that, and again, family can be used as family as in your soul connection group or your actual family. But often when we think as we get older, when we think of family, we're thinking about those that really, resonate with us, those that have the same kind of connection that we want to have. And you have that around you. So it's like sometimes we just keep forgetting. We keep forgetting that we are this divine being, yet we're in human form. And the humanness keeps forgetting that we are so much more. And so then I would say, for this spiritual transformation to exist, to just sort of let go and let God, to sort of not try so hard to maybe manipulate or change or do things, but to really, let it just sort of flow and happen. You have really strong energy around you. So you have the ability to be structured, and you have the discipline, and you have the leadership that you can do it. It's just, there's this part of you, and I'm going to say that it was from early childhood that just, I don't know, maybe somebody said you couldn't do it, and even though you don't remember consciously, you somehow kept that as a belief, and that part of you has this opportunity to shift it right now. And so it's like you have an incredible opportunity to move in towards this perfect wish that you want. It's just when you're not really clear and you don't hold the confidence, then what you may create in this perfect wish is more of what you have. But I'm going to say, once Jean finishes clearing and you get really, really clear about what you would like and how you would like to see it done, that everything will happen for you. How does that feel? Okay.
Yeah. So what's blocking your voice, Julie, is an aspect of yourself. Let's just call it in another dimension or a parallel life. And so there's a woman, this is just a piece of you, piece of your soul, and she's in an unhappy marriage. It's a no-love marriage where her husband has cheated on her, has lied about it, and she doesn't have the courage to speak up and call him out on it, or to say, you know what, I deserve better than this, et cetera, et cetera. And so she's kind of like the frog in your throat that keeps you, because of her issues, keeps you from stating what you really want, getting clear on what you really want. So what her problems and her reality are doing is that they have caused her instincts and her self-worth to be wounded. And you're resonating with that, sweetie, and we got to get you out of that. So that you're not. She's got a belief, and her belief is struggle. I have to struggle to earn love, and that's her belief. It's not yours, but you're carrying it for her. So let's clear this now. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to call in Angel and ask the angel to help you to put you out of resonance with the aspect of yourself that's in an unhappy situation in another dimension. This angel's name is Micah. Micah is the angel of your divine plan. So I want you to ask Micah to assist you in placing you vibrationally out of resonance with any other aspects of yourself and completely in resonance with your divine plan, with your soul's purpose. Excellent. And what I want you to do then, I want you to pretend like you're standing in front of a mirror. And the image of Julie that you see in the mirror is Julie, but she's covered over by this other aspect of her soul, this woman who's in an unhappy marriage, has been cheated on, and has had her self-worth shattered. And I want you to just to look at that image, acknowledge her, and then I just want you to just gently blow on the mirror and just blow that image away until what you see is you, your strong self, your bright light, your gifts, your ability, your beauty. And then I just want you to fully surrender to Spirit. You know, what the card says is actually kneel and surrender to Spirit, but you can do this in your mind. You can do this figuratively. And just ask that you be completely cleared of all old patterns from the past and old patterns that don't belong to you from other aspects of your soul. Ask Spirit to clear them away from you completely and restore you onto your divine plan and your purpose. And you receive blessings from the angels for having the courage to know that it was time to call in. And, you know, even though you might not have actually pressed one, your guides wanted you to be on this show because they wanted you to have this clearing. So you get blessings. So here's the blessings. And the first one is a blessing of union. And the ability to accept love from yourself, from Spirit, from your partner, from your family, from all those around you. Feel the love. The second blessing is renewed faith in yourself. And the final blessing leads right up to that card that Laurie pulled with the money and the heart's desire, because it's synchronistic flow and good fortune. So, Julie, it's gratitude that owns every clearing. So just take a moment and give thanks to your angels, your teachers, and your guides. And we thank you for being here when you were supposed to be and doing the work to clear the way for you.
Yes, thank you.
You are very
So
welcome.
much.
All right. Well, listeners, this has been a great show. I don't think we have anybody else who is hanging out there wanting a reading and clearing today. So I just want to thank everybody for being present with us and listening to us. And Julie, if you want to go back and listen to the show in the archives, then you can hear all the stuff about patterns that Laurie and I were talking about. So I think that might be very helpful to you. So next week it will be just me, and then Laurie is going to be back in 2 weeks. So every other week, Laurie will be here, and we will do our little tag team thing of readings and clearings, because this is fun. We enjoy it. This is what we love. And so until next week, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Bye-bye now.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo!
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.